Private Pile, I think we finally found something that you do well.
Sir, yes, sir.
Trump said he's going to release all assassination reports against him. There are suspicious things that have been happening. Is this President Trump releasing the assassination reports? Well, I'm not sure. The only reason why Fox News decided to ask this question was because we created quite a news cycle asking the Department of Homeland Security Secretary about this. We may not get asked back, I'm not sure. You know, like the way this all works is we are able to accept and absorb the energy from the chat. We love the chat. We love you. And you have continued to ask questions about the shady as hell, mysterious as hell assassination attempts against Trump. One of them by a Ukrainian military asset, and one of them by the only 22-year-old in the world who doesn't have a social media imprint, but who was definitely on encrypted apps all around the world, using a cell phone, speaking with somebody right before he got 8 shots off on President Trump. How do you know exactly where to crawl? How do you know where to go? How'd this guy have the instincts to actually like go to the exact right spot where nobody would be able to shoot back at him? You know, we are the only show that actually traveled to that rooftop and stood where Matthew Thomas Crooks stood. We've been there. We saw his blood trail freshly scrubbed off the roof. It was insane. We were there so fast. Ladies and gentlemen, so many questions. President Trump is saying, yeah, I have questions too. And it's damn time that the American public hear what this is about. We have no idea if this is what President Trump's going to announce at the White House. Again, ladies and gentlemen, here's a live shot of the White House right now. You can see the beautiful American flag fluttering in the wind. We await President Trump speaking. And maybe this is what he's going to talk about. But until we figure that out, we're going to talk about it. That's what we're going to do. This is what, ladies and gentlemen, we asked Kristi Noem this week about Matthew Thomas Crooks. The reason why we asked this question, and not like a question like the corporate media asks, like, do you like the sky? Is the sun hot? Like, are you happy? Like, we don't ask dumb questions. We ask pointed questions that get at actual fact patterns that you want to know about. This is a time for radical transparency. So it doesn't make us a ton of friends. I mean, it does make us a ton of friends. Like, Trump secretaries are coming on, like cabinet secretaries are coming on the show like crazy, and we're honored for it. But the reason why we make news cycles like this is because we listen to you, and we love you, and we are you. And so we have the same concerns. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we threw Kristi Noem off a little bit here. We asked about Matthew Thomas Crooks, and we set it up by saying, like, listen, Madam Secretary, in all due respect, you're in charge of Secret Service. You're in charge of the Department of Homeland Security, Secret Police, Department of Homeland Security Investigations, who was training with Matthew Thomas Crooks. We'll show you that evidence. They went to the same gun ranges together. What the hell is that about? You have all this evidence. You have his cell phone. You have all of his devices. You have his creepy ass parents. We'll show you clips of them. Why is his whole family so mysterious? Why'd he go to D.C.? We asked the secretary the best that we can do right now, and we started this news cycle. Here we go.
Your service has bad advertisements, yes, right? Like the assassination attempt in Butler.
Yes.
And many people, especially in our audience, are frustrated at the lack of understanding of what the motivation was, who was Matthew Thomas Crooks talking to on the phone, what was happening behind the scenes. Some investigators are out saying he might not have acted alone. Again, what people want, I think, is just information, because it seems so strange. This guy almost started a civil war, changed the course of human history with 8 shots on the president.
Well, we need to know the truth, and Americans deserve the truth. They really do. Yeah, and that is all information that the president will be fully briefed on and will know, and that the American public will know. What I will say also is that what we have seen continuously, and what I see as a fundamental flaw, is a breakdown in communication. And it's part of my job at DHS is to help streamline that. If you look at that situation in Butler, the communication between Secret Service, the local law enforcement, the state law enforcement, all the agencies that were there, it was a breakdown in how they communicate and how they do it in a situation like that. But we see the same thing happening in a crisis that could be in response to a natural disaster. How the federal responders communicate with the state responders, with the local emergency management operators. A lot of times when we see failures in FEMA or in failures in other departments and agencies, it's because they weren't communicating. And for me, my job, what I believe needs to happen so many times is a pre-education and a structure for how we communicate and how we do things before they happen. Sean knows that part of that training that needs to happen is educating folks on how we're going to work with local law enforcement before that event ever comes, and spending time to create those communication structures. Because if you go back through the investigations that the House and the Senate have done into Butler, a lot of it was they weren't talking to each other, they weren't cooperating together, therefore their assets weren't fully utilized. And how did that happen? How did 8 shots get off? And is he acting alone? We still don't have the answers because we weren't talking to each other.
So you don't know if he was acting alone?
Well, it's not my purview to say to you today what all of that, but I will say that it all is information that the American public will have at the appropriate time.
So there is an investigation going on,
oh,
and we will learn a lot more.
And members of Congress are still working on that as well, too. So it's not just an investigation, with law enforcement entities in the country, but also Congress is still very much on top of it.
So we're going to get to the Ukrainian militant who nearly killed Trump as well. Don't worry, we'll skin him alive. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to spend a little bit of time here on Matthew Thomas Crooks, because Matthew Thomas Crooks is caught stepping. Here he is, right there. Who took this photo of Matthew Thomas Crooks? The zit-faced, pale, translucent-skinned, creepy, Antifa-looking, dorky weirdo who probably couldn't even lift a bag of rice. How's this guy, who looks like he's a before photo in a Proactive ad, able to kill the man with the largest footprint on Earth? And by kill, I mean he hit him in the head with the bullet. Without the hand of God and Providence protecting Donald Trump, how the hell did this guy hit the single most high target valued asset on Earth? Make an argument. I'll make an argument. Donald Trump's the most famous man walking the earth today. The end. Fight me on that. You can't. You can't. He is more famous than Putin. He is more famous than some Ayatollah or whatever. Xi Jinping. Go wander around and ask people about Xi Jinping and then ask them about Donald Trump. See who they know. Donald Trump, the most famous man walking the earth today. They got a successful headshot on, killed people, shot other people, 8 shots on President Trump, and he's talking with someone. Who is it? This is a photo taken from a sniper. It's like Matthew Thomas Crooks knew exactly where on the rooftop to stand and to crawl to. He crawled to the exact right location where there wasn't going to be an agent able to take him out. We did a whole documentary on this. ALX, it might be worth actually loading up a portion of that documentary, because we are the only show on earth that went and stood where Matthew Thomas Crooks, there it is. There's the blood trail. That's us. I filmed this from my cell phone. We stood right at his sniper position. Donald Trump was at the Red Barn. This is how close. I'm just zooming in with my iPhone. Donald Trump's at the Red Barn. There you go. See those sticks? That's how close he was. Any gun owners out there? You know how easy of a shot that is? This is with my cell phone. See the sticks? See the guy standing there on the sticks? I'm laying literally right in the sniper position. Right here. The only show with the balls to actually go there, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, you remember the Red Barn. That was where the Secret Service was. The roof here is sloped, LOL. Sloped in a sense that, the Secret Service was so scared to be on the sloped roof. Remember that? Remember how they tried to lie to you? That's another indication. That's another indication that all of this is garbage. All of this is complete and total bull dung. You've been fed lies. It's very important, obviously, that video. I want to just establish one more thing. Can we go back to that video? Because we knew what we were looking for here. The Secret Service was supposed to be in those windows. So you should have had snipers in these windows. I could go, this might be a 4-hour show. I mean, I could go on. We've studied this so much. But you want to talk about people who actually know what they're talking about? Talk to the people that laid down in the guy's blood, okay? Oh, and why was the roof sprayed off? That's another question. Why was it washed off? Why was he cremated? Dude got cremated faster than a household pet. Your little canary dies? Matthew Thomas Crook was cremated faster than that. Have we ever seen a toxicology report? Hey, ask yourself a question. I know George Floyd's toxicology report. George Floyd was killed with fentanyl. George Floyd died of fentanyl poisoning. George Floyd, if anything, is a major warning sign against the amount of poisonous fentanyl that's being fed into our country. But we're not ready to have that conversation, are we? Have you seen a toxicology report from Matthew Thomas Crooks? The guy that nearly started a civil war and changed all world history? Have you seen any data from his cell phone? No, because they scrubbed it. Look at this. FBI fires back a claim that Crook's body was cremated days after Trump assassination attempt by saying, yes, we cremated his body. This is incredible. Congressman Clay Higgins, friend of the show, says that he requested to view Crooks' body, and nobody on the ground in Butler knew that it had already been handed back to the suspect's family and immediately cremated. This caused quite a stir and revealed a very disturbing fact. He was trying to find he was trying to look at the dead body because he wanted to be the only independent source that ever saw the dead body. You've received nothing. My efforts to examine Crooks' body, this is from Congressman Clay Higgins, fantastic congressman, former sheriff, member of law enforcement, caused quite a stir and revealed a disturbing fact. The FBI released the body for cremation 10 days after the assassination attempt. So where the hell is the toxicology report? Nobody knew this. Nobody asked. The county coroner, law enforcement, said, we had no idea. Butler County coroner technically has the legal authority over the body. But the FBI shoved that sucker right into the flames. The FBI said, nope, gone. The FBI can be seen, I don't know if we could grab this, that'd be great. FBI could be seen power washing the roof right before we got there. Literally a day before we got there, the FBI power washed the roof. So let's go back to the video that I filmed. It's very important. This shows you what an inside job all this was. Either Matthew Thomas Crooks is the single luckiest guy. Matthew Thomas Crooks, kind of guy that should have invested in Bitcoin back in 2008, right? He's the guy that goes to the casino and just bets on black, wins the house every single time. He's either the luckiest human being to ever flipping live based on the preponderance of absolute golden miracles that were handed to him that day for him to successfully get a pot shot off the president. Let's talk through some of the abject, miraculous walk through a series of slot machine, pull everything. So you walk through 20 slot machines, you pull every handle, and every single time you get jackpot, jackpot, jackpot right across. You do it 20 times in a row. This was Matthew Thomas Crooks' day. Matthew Thomas Crooks, who was escorted out of the rally, who tried to enter the rally with a viewfinder, who should have been arrested immediately on the spot for trying to enter the rally with a rangefinder. Rangefinders are only used for people that are ready to shoot something. That's the only reason you would use a rangefinder. There is no other, or a golf course, right? How far away is the hole? That's it. No, there's no other uses for a rangefinder. You're either trying to measure the distance for a shot, either a golf ball or a bullet. So he walks in with a rangefinder and they just let him go. Then he's followed by a cop car and they just let him go. Then he climbs on the rooftop of this building after being on the cell phone with somebody. He gets on the rooftop and he's able to scamper across a very large manufacturing facility. This is the A&R glass factory in Butler, Pennsylvania. He's able to scamper across this rooftop and lay flat on the top of this roof while exposing his head multiple times to snipers. I'm not sure if we have that footage, but if we could grab that. Where you can see his head literally, you can see Donald Trump speaking and you can see his head popping up and down. Nobody does anything. Why does nobody do anything? Because, and forgive me for jumping here, because there's no Overwatch at the highest location Anybody who's ever been to war or anybody who knows literally anything about anything knows that you want to be on the highest location in order to see what's going on in case of an emergency. Duh. You ever been to a playground? Have you ever been to have you ever watched have you ever watched like Curious George or Sesame Street? You clearly understand what I have the high ground, Anakin, means. Nobody was up on that watchtower. Nobody was up there. This, of course, would have been so I'm standing right where Matthew Thomas Crooks was. This would have been the easiest kill shot ever from the watchtower. Hey, there's a weirdo with a gun. Dead. See ya. Nobody was up there. Why the hell was nobody up there? That seems strange and absolutely a break in protocol. And then, what gets better, there's his blood again. Then what gets better, there should have been a sniper right in that window. There was a sniper in that window. Get a load of this. This is what makes me scream inside job. There was a sniper in that window. There were 2-man sniper team in that window. It should have been a 4-man sniper team. 2 guys went home early. They were sent home early. Who sent them home? Then the other guy hears there's somebody crawling around on the rooftop. So he goes down to go figure it out. He gets locked out of the building. His key card doesn't work. And then so the sniper who should have been in that position, look at how easy that shot would have been. This is like Chuck E. Cheese, like layup shots. That's the sniper who's sitting there in the window. He has to go down and get his buddy out. So then there's no sniper in the window. So Matthew Thomas Crooks is able to trot around on the rooftop right here. Look, you can literally see his dumb ass wobbling around on the rooftop, exposing his head. Oh, he's such a smooth criminal. Oh, he's so smart. He's such a great operator. Nope, he's not. It's like they knew the one position at this rally where some guy, and they created an environment where this one guy, no matter how stupid he is, would be able to get shots off on Trump. The jackassery of all of this. There are no coincidences, ladies and gentlemen. And so then what happens? Matthew Thomas Crooks is not only able to fire, not only do the snipers not either see him and not shoot, he's able to fire 8 shots. We have the original video here. Go ahead and listen to the number of gunshots that he's able to get off before anybody returns fire. Let's go.
If you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
All right, they did a jump cut. In this video. It's a full 30 seconds. Obviously, you know, of course, the single most iconic and miraculous moment, what I would call the most widely seen miracle in human history. What man intends for evil, God intends for good. This is the most widely seen miracle in human history. Okay, that Trump got up from that. What if Matthew Thomas Crooks had just trained his fire on Trump? It's macabre, but the reality is he would have been able to shoot through the Secret Service agents. You know, Trump just falls flat on the. Trump's just sitting there. With every single one of those bullets, all 8 of those bullets could have hit Trump. Every single one of those bullets, Trump had no protection. It took 30 seconds for the Secret Service to return fire. And remember the Lady Ghostbusters? I'm not sure if they're in this video or not. The Lady Ghostbusters that couldn't even holster their weapon, they're all from Homeland Security investigations. Ooh, boy, we're going to jump into that too. What's this Homeland Security investigation? What a dirty little operation. Homeland Security investigations, of course, is a strange little group that's part of every single PSYOP that's been pulled on our movement in the last couple of years, right? Homeland Security Investigations was crawling all over January 6th. Homeland Security Investigations, who again, the Lady Ghostbuster was in charge of right here. Okay, there you go. I mean, you remember the video. These aren't Secret Service agents. Obviously. Look, you see his can loader gun. They were giving Trump, they literally had surrounded Trump with like not the B team, not the C or E team, but no team. They surrounded Trump with people that couldn't holster their weapon. These were the people protecting Trump that day. There's too much going on, man. There's too much going on. That's why we asked Matthew Thomas Crooks, who the hell was he on the phone with? Look at this phone. He's sitting there. He's talking with someone. Who's Crooks on the phone with before he shot the president in the face? Trump assassin Matthew Thomas Crooks trained at same gun range used by DHS. Well, that's odd. That's a little strange, ain't it? Kind of mysterious. That not only is he training with DHS, and I'm going to be careful here. Okay, I don't have any direct evidence that he's training with DHS. That like DHS agents are like, no, shoot like this, right? And let's put a MAGA hat downrange. I do have evidence. I do know that the name of the gun range, and we do have the federal license. We do have the literal Clarion Sportsman Club sign-in sheets that say DHS. And then here's Matthew Thomas Crooks' name. I'm sorry. That's insane. It's on the same day. It's on the same day. Okay, 22. Here we go. 22, 23. All right, so let's be accurate. This says 22. This says 23. But either way, we have the sign-in sheet. It's the same range. And call it what it is. It's within the same hours of shooting at the same range. That's a little strange. That's a little odd. You know what's also odd is that Matthew Thomas Crooks kept going mysteriously to D.C. What's he doing? This scumbag's like effectively fun employed. He's a loser. He has no life. He has no social media. No social media record, with the exception of Gab. Hey, Alex, was that ever confirmed? There's a site called Gab. The owner of Gab, Andrew Chorba, had a record of a guy who he believed was Matthew Thomas Crooks, who was on there regularly arguing in favor of Joe Biden. We know that Matthew Thomas Crooks donated to Joe Biden. He donated to far left-wing causes using Act Blue, the Democrat donation vector. All this, it's all a psyop that he's a Republican. No, he's not. His parents are school counselors. He's living with his parents. He's a loser, yet he keeps going to D.C. Why is that exactly? What was he doing in D.C.? And where did he go in D.C.? Well, within blocks of the FBI. We found the assassin's connections in in-depth analysis of mobile tracking movements. To do this, we tracked devices that regularly visited Crooks' home and place of work. So why were these mysterious visits? What were these mysterious visits from Washington, D.C. to Matthew Thomas Crooks' home? Look at this. So this is the area of the FBI, so the Chinatown area of Washington, D.C. Someone who regularly visited Crooks' home and work also visited a building in Washington, D.C. located in Gallery Place. This is right next to the FBI. Whose device is this? Can we please get that information? Another device visited Plymouth, Massachusetts. We found one device linked to Crooks' work that traveled to Butler, Pennsylvania on July 4th and July 8th. The device then stopped all activity the day before Trump was shot. Huh. Almost like a scouting trip. One device linked to Crooks visited Allegheny Arms. We know that he bought we know that he bought his ammunition from there. Here's all the relevant locations within Bethel Park, Pennsylvania that are linked to Thomas Crooks' home and place of work. By the way, why don't we know anything about Thomas Crooks' home? Somebody please explain that? Can somebody please explain why he's in a BlackRock ad? Thomas Crooks appeared in BlackRock ad in 2022. This isn't at all controversial to say because it's literally real. BlackRock admits it. BlackRock was filming an ad at Matthew Thomas Crooks' high school, and the ad featured Trump's assassin. He was not paid, nor was he hired by the company as an actor. In In 2022, says BlackRock, we read an ad featuring Bethel Park High School in which several unpaid students briefly appeared in the background, including Matthew Thomas Crooks. They've scrubbed the ad now from the internet. The Secret Service fatally shot Crooks, whose motive for opening fire remains unknown. That's right. The FBI is investigating the shooting. Can anybody please explain to me why we know nothing about Matthew Thomas Crooks' parents? Matthew Brian Crooks and Mary Elizabeth Crooks are both professional counselors. Okay? Here's their counselor licensing. And they refuse to go out in public. They shop at 3 a.m. Here they are here, a Fox News video. They put masks on their faces, cover their faces, and refuse to say anything to the public. We have no comment. Give us our space. Well, your kid shot the president in the head. Do you have can you say you're sorry about that, or you're sorry that Trump got shot in the head? Matthew Thomas Crooks' dad said one thing to the camera, one time. Check this out.
Mr. Crooks, was there anything that might have made you aware of what your son was up? Mr. Crooks, was there anything that might have made you aware of what your son was up to?
Mr. Crooks, can you explain why your son has such a limited social circle?
Is there any statement you'd be willing to share with us right now, Mr. Crooks?
I gotta pee.
I gotta pee. This is what the guy says. Here's the guy. This is him and his wife. His wife walks around, obviously, with full disguise on. She's there, right there, wearing a mask, the cap pulled down over her eyes with a big hoodie on. This guy gets a chance to say something in the very heat of all of this, and he says, "I gotta pee." Have you ever seen this video? It's insane. They don't go outside. They never leave their house. Apparently, the house was completely scrubbed clean. We know what was in the house because there are photos of the FBI outside. What do I mean? We know that the FBI went through the house. They had one of those giant tents set up outside of the house. They have gathered insane amounts of information, evidence from inside of the home. What did Matthew Thomas Crooks' bedroom look like? It's crazy. The FBI, Fed Op, Patriot Front, every single time they march or do anything, we know everything. We have all this video of them. We see them in their box trucks. See all this footage. They make sure that's shoved down our throats, right? Why have you never seen a photo of Matthew Thomas Crooks' bedroom? Why have we never seen, I don't know, what playing cards he had? What console devices was he using? What poster did he have up in his room? Did he have a Joe Biden poster in his room? Did he have a Barack Obama poster in his room? What were the things? What was his diet? These are the kind of things that you would learn about if it was, I don't know, a terrorist. Here's a good example. Some guy who was an ISIS terrorist, former United States Army dude, some guy that was an ISIS terrorist went and killed a bunch of people on New Year's Day in New Orleans. It's a horrifying attack. It's awful. Within 1 hour, within 1 hour, within 1 day, the media was allowed. Do we have that ridiculous old video? Within 1 day, the media was allowed to tour his home, to literally take cameras, show us all of his. They literally showed us bomb-making kit. The media they swung open the door for us to go in and look through all of his house. It's a famous video. I know we did a whole read on it. It's the New York Post, if I recall correctly. They're wandering through. Oh, here's his Quran. Here's his comb. Here's his bomb-making kit. Here are all of his weapons. Okay. I'm not saying maybe. I don't think that's probably what should have happened, but it is what happened. So where's that video of Matthew Thomas Crooks' house? Can somebody explain that to me? I'm not trying to I pray for the dead. I am so sorry that people lost their lives in New Orleans. We're angry about it. We want it to stop. I'm not trying to discount that. But shooting Trump in the head is on a different level. It just is, because you'd start a civil war, honestly, with that attack. Like, you kill Trump, you start a civil war. You destroy the global order. You change the course of all human history. So why do we know nothing about him? Why have you never seen inside of Matthew Thomas Crooks' house? Here's his house right there. Here's his house. Okay, so there's his home. You can see on the screen there. You can see the little yellow tape around his house. They had little FBI tents outside of his house. They were clearly combing the house for something. Here's the home. They were looking for something. Maybe they got it. Matthew Thomas Crooks' parents called law enforcement before the Trump rally to say that they were worried about their kid. Matthew Thomas Crooks, I just verified that Matthew Crooks' dad lives at the same address as now deceased son, along with his wife. They're both professional counselors. Professional counselors. Okay. Licensed social workers. Crazy. Do we have that? Like, here's what you got. Here's what you got. Okay, so if it's an ISIS terrorist, here's what we get. So if it's a member of ISIS... No. Yeah, ISIS, yeah. So this is an ISIS terrorist. Here's what we get. Here you go. Look. Here, we can touch everything. We can see everything. See every single little thing. Look, it's his Quran. Look. I guess I'm not arguing with this level of transparency. A lot of people said it was very strange. Look, we're gonna 24 hours after he murders 12 Americans, we're just gonna wander around, show you what's in his fridge, show you everything. Like, here's actually the FBI list. Here's like the federal paperwork on the guy. We're just gonna leave everything out. Where's this video of Matthew Thomas Crooks' house? Anyone? Nothing? Now we learn that he wasn't acting alone. Would-be Trump assassin Matthew Thomas Crooks may have had an accomplice. Data shows, and investigators say the FBI is suppressing info. Well. Shall we tune in to Dan Bongino, the new deputy director of the FBI, who starts on March 17th. He starts in 10 days. Let's go ahead and tune in. Let's go see what Dan has to say about this, because Dan's going to be literally in charge of these files.
Folks, this Crooks thing stinks to the heavens, man. This has the stench of sulfur all over it. You can't find this guy's communications anywhere. He's managed to find the Catwoman freaking program to wipe himself off the internet. Bullshit. The question you should ask, and Congress people, you need to ask under oath, was Matthew Crooks working with any FBI agent, off duty, on duty, between duty, near duty, retired, not born yet? You get the point? Also, was Thomas Crooks working with FBI asset? Confidential informant. A non-confidential informant. An informant who's confidential now but wasn't before. An informant who wants to be an informant but hasn't been approved yet. Do you see the games they play?
Thank God that man is our new deputy director of the FBI. Can't start fast enough. Freaking Dan Bongino asking the right questions. New York Post, Thomas Crooks may have had an accomplice. Oh, really? The zit-faced, acneed dork, who again looks like he was barely able to carry a bag of rice, a box of Captain Crunch from the cabinet. Of course, the cabinets you'll never see. Videos of him inside the home, you'll never see them. Interviews with the parents, where the hell are they? The only statements the parents have made is, I have to pee. Well, it's on camera. Don't be upset at me about it. That's what the guy said. The guy gets an opportunity to talk to the media and he goes, I have to pee. How about I'm sorry my kid killed Corey Comfortor, shot Trump in the head? How about that? How about a little grief? Like some type of olive branch to the community that's been ripped to pieces. What a little information. This is infuriating that we've had no answers in 7 months. Trump assassin leaked to DC FBI office. Personnel within the FBI may have been obstructing the investigation into the actions of the potential accomplices of Matthew Thomas Crooks. Oversight Project found Assassin's connections through an in-depth analysis of mobile data that we just covered. Oversight Project, somebody who regularly visited Crooks' home and work, visited a building in Washington, D.C. This is right next to the FBI. Very strange. Trump's would-be assassin has accomplices. This has now been widely covered. Imagine my shock. Network of evil. Would-be Trump assassin Matthew Thomas Crooks has accomplices, data shows. Data also shows that he had encrypted apps in Belgium, Germany, and New Zealand. What the hell are on those apps? Here he is just wandering around. There's Matthew Thomas Crooks. Moments before in Butler, Pennsylvania. We've literally stood on this exact spot. We know exactly where this road was because we went back to Butler, Pennsylvania. Exactly where this is. Here's Matthew Thomas Crooks just wandering around, scoping the place out. Tried to walk in with a rangefinder. Good. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, yeah, good. We apologize. The streaming service that we use, StreamYard, is having some type of has some type of glitch where assets aren't playing sometimes correctly. So we apologize if our production team is doing our best to speak with our streaming partner in StreamYard, but there is a small technical glitch where the assets don't play. So if it takes a second for an asset to play, this is why. Yeah, dude, this guy's not a criminal mastermind. He maintained encrypted messaging apps on platforms hosted abroad. Dude, this thing is dirty. Now, who told you? Boy, howdy. Have we ever been on this for a very, very long time? We had Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna on the show. This was just in the weeks after, suggesting that Thomas Crooks did not act alone. I think he had a handler, the Congresswoman says. I think someone was walking him through how to do this. This was posted in August, on August 16th. So you're talking a month after Donald Trump. We are out here doing our best to deliver truth on what happened. But I think the darkest we've ever gone into who may be helping and why the FBI is suppressing this information is with Mike Benz. You have to give Mike Benz a second to explain here. Mike Benz is somebody who takes his time to answer these questions because he's very, very thorough and because he's somebody who really thinks these things through. And Mike Benz, in a clip that went thermonuclear at the time, explained how a splinter cell operation from inside of DHS could have facilitated, groomed, and then created the environment for Matthew Thomas Crooks to shoot Trump. And that this could be easily done by simply creating a fifth column of agents inside of a tight cluster. And Mike goes into details about how they do this and how they groom assassins. Here's Mike.
It would be remarkably easy, all in-house within DHS through the following mechanism. We know that January 6th was...
By this, you mean an assassination on President Trump?
Yes.
Okay.
Allowing a clear shot on the United States president, at a rally. We know that DHS, and specifically a division called HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, had more feds on January 6th than the FBI did. They were running something through the JTTF, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, to recruit informants in the Oath Keepers, the Proud Boys, and the 3%ers. And there's a great tape that I've referenced many times now, a 45-minute audio that was recorded lawfully, but discreetly by a former Oath Keeper named Jeremy Brown, who was recruited by two DHS HSI, Homeland Security Investigations officers, starting about 2 months before January 6th, but then ramping up into a month before, and even called him on his personal cell phone twice the morning of January 6th. This is all, by the way, in federal documents. They can read all about it, and you can listen to this, and I can post on my timeline. But and it was HSI actively recruiting intelligence assets within the same militias that they were targeting and and surveying in order to turn against the Trump movement and to infiltrate and to participate in January 6th events. Now, HSI is an interesting sort of outfit unto itself. DHS is a little bit different than the FBI because the FBI is supposed to be the intelligence arm of the Justice Department. So everything has to run through justice. Everything has to be, approved by them. There has to be a law-breaking predicate. You have to, get all the paperwork because it has to be criminal. But DHS is not. DHS is sort of a free-roaming agency in that way. It's not. DHS is the only other intelligence agency other than the FBI, but it's not attached to the Justice Department. It can do its own thing. And it's been reported that because of the NATO summit going on that week and the Jill Biden event going on that day during the Butler rally, that there was a reduced Secret Service presence covering Donald Trump and that they were replaced by agents from HSI.
Yes.
Now, if HSI also had representation at this gun range, that is, all it would have taken. Now, one of the things I come back to is look at the timing. Okay, not only was this shooting, this attempted assassination, the day before the RNC convention to nominate someone, so it would have been super easy doing it that way to put in a Nikki Haley, and it was 2 weeks after the SCOTUS immunity decision ended, the Justice Department's ability to kill Trump through 1,000 years in prison. But this seemed really ready to go, didn't it? The Butler rally took place 1 week, just 1 week after it was announced. And in just 1 week, this guy, 20-year-old kid, got drone surveillance, was able to, scope the place, was able to construct 3 homemade pipe bombs. God, where have I heard that before? And if you remember, the FBI was busted teaching right-wing militia people to make pipe bombs in the Gretchen Whitmer Fednapping case. The thing they were actually arrested on was attempting to purchase weapons of mass destruction, i.e. pipe bombs, that were sold to them by FBI agents. And not only that, before the FBI attempted to sell them pipe bomb materials, the FBI created a Truman Show of federal agents to come to these people's meetings and teach them how to make pipe bombs.
We've been asking these questions for so long, and we need answers. I also am so glad that I got a haircut, because what the hell is going on there? We're doing our very best, ladies and gentlemen, to bring you truth and to be right, or at the very least, set ourselves up to deliver light in the darkness.